So you've seen all these other challenges where they try to beat Pokemon with only one Pokemon or one type of Pokemon or something else in any other video game. And as I was looking through these, I started thinking, you know, no one's ever tried this with Bakugan. And so I decided to try it myself. So out of all the Bakugan in the Bakugan Battle Brawlers game for the Xbox 360, I know, dead console, am I right? Anyways, I decided to go with the Bakugan that was specifically made for this game, thinking, oh yeah, this won't be a strain on my mental health. It was. The rules are pretty simple. I could only go into battle using Leonidas, and any other Bakugan that I have, I just have to use them for a double stand. If another Bakugan lands on a card with anyone who is not Leonidas, I have to restart the entire battle all over again. Now obviously, you don't get Leonidas right away, you do have to do a tutorial battle and then do a whole bunch of mumbo-jumbo cutscenes, so that didn't count, and the run officially started as soon as I got Leonidas and went to the first battle. I had a timer up at the top just so I would know, hey, how long would this take me? But I kept messing it up so much, I just decided to cut it out entirely, and it really didn't make that much of a difference to the run in the end. Anyways, once I found out that my console still worked, I hooked it up, got ready, and prayed to God, because this was a game strictly luck-based. At least for this challenge, it's completely luck-based. Because as I said, the enemy cannot land on any cards that do not have the Leonidas Bakugan on it. This was going to be hard, obviously. So I started the game, made my character, named my character, and then went on to the tutorial. It was relatively easy as it's a tutorial. It should be easy. After that, I was able to finally start the battle, well, challenge, by battling Akira, which is Shuji's younger brother in the plot. Does anybody know Bakugan lore? Do I have to explain this? I don't know. I'm not gonna. Anyways, after that, it was time to actually start the game. And by that, I mean going to the tournaments. See, in this Bakugan game, you have to go to tournaments, and once you defeat all the tournaments, then that's technically kind of the story mode, and you fight the final boss, which is an edgy edgelord that they came up with back in 2007 with the dumbest name ever. But we'll get back to that later. I just realized that I never fully explained the rules. When I say beat the game using only Leonidas, I mean beat the game using only Leonidas in battle. Because in this game, you have to have 3 Bakugan on your team at all times. So how do I get around this? Well, like I just said, I only use Leonidas in battle, and the other 2 Bakugan I have to use for double stands only. I cannot do anything else with them. So the first ever actual opponent in the storyline, which is what we're trying to beat, is Shuji, the guy from the tutorial. And something really hilarious happened where I actually beat him with 3 double stands on my first try. I did not expect that, and I did not think that that was ever going to happen again, but oh boy was I wrong. Half of these battles win by me getting only double stands. Unfortunately, this means that if an enemy lands on a card with a Bakugan of mine that is not Leonidas, I have to restart the entire battle all over again, which I do 7 times, which honestly I'm surprised that's it. I honestly thought it would be like in the 10s or 20s at least, but no, just 7 times. So I'm kind of proud of myself for that. After being so confident in defeating Shuji, I kind of let off thinking, this whole first tournament will be insanely easy. And I immediately lost to the second opponent, which was Runo. This marked my first reset out of many. So that kind of sunk me down a little and made me realize, wow, even on easy mode, I cannot let my guard down for this challenge. We got back at her in round 2, so that was just fine and dandy. The next opponent that I had to fight was this little bastard right here. Marucha was the hardest opponent in all of this challenge, mostly being because of his Preyas. See, I made a deck of cards that were specifically helpful for Darkest type Bakugan. I chose Darkest because that's my favorite attribute, and also because no one else really uses them, so my cards would give me, and me only, the upper advantage. However, Marucho's Preyas has this system where every time it lands, it randomly switches between Darkest, Subterra, or Aqua's attributes. And of course, he mostly landed on Darkest. This meant while when usually fighting opponents, I would get a 200 power increase and they would only get 100, both me and Preyas would get 200, which was not good since he had higher stats than me to begin with. But that wasn't the only reason Marucho was hard. He literally came for blood. He would only roll to aim straight for my Bakugan, and nothing else. Even if it was a Bakugan that wasn't Leonidas, which was insanely hard to deal with. But we were somehow able to deal with him. And he was the true final boss of this challenge because, as I said before, he came for blood, he had a Darkest Bakugan with him sometimes, and he was just a monstrosity to deal with during this. After defeating Marucho for the first time, we finally went to the store for the first time. And I know you might be thinking, hey, why are you going to the store? You can't use any other Bakugan, you can't buy Bakugan. Well, I can also buy ability cards and gate cards which deal extra boosts to my character, but I can also upgrade my Bakugan. You see, Bakugan can be upgraded in this game to do a variety of different things. What I wanted to upgrade the most was Leonidas' speed and defense. These two stats, mostly speed, were crucial for this challenge. The reason why speed was so important was because that was what actually determined how much damage we would do when we ran into someone with a sphere attack. A sphere attack is when you throw your Bakugan, you can throw it at an opponent, and it deals damage before the fight even begins. So that was super helpful. And if I got super lucky, which I actually didn't this entire run, I could actually knock them off of the card entirely for a critical sphere attack, and just straight up win the card automatically that way. But like I said, that didn't happen, and I'm kind of disappointed it didn't happen. But it is what it is. After that, the rest of the tournament was relatively easy, so we just stormed right through it. And the next challenge was the tag team tournament, which is Bakugan's fancy way of saying double battles. In the tag team tournament, you always automatically team up with Dan, which 5-year-old me popped off when I learned about that. I got my third reset here, but also something really cool happened where an opponent picked up a hyper ability card, which again, you can pick up power-ups while rolling your Bakugan. They picked up an ability card that made it so my screen went wobbly, and then this is known as confusion. While confused, I was able to strike a sphere attack, which is insanely hard to do already on its own, but it's just insane how I was able to do it with confusion. And I'm honestly super proud of myself still, and I honestly still can't believe that I actually pulled that off. After the rest of the tournament, which was super easy, I went to get more upgrades done to Leonidas, and then immediately headed straight for the park so I could beat the tutorial on how to do Battle Royales, which is 1v1v1v1. This was the easiest game mode, as I said earlier, but I had to do a tutorial for it in order to unlock the tournament, aka the story mode. The only new thing about this tournament was obviously the rule set and the new stadium, which was Subterra based, meaning Subterra Bakugan had an advantage no matter where they landed on a gate card. This made it not very difficult for me since I would only have a disadvantage in one tournament, which was the last tournament, and it was chaos based. So I really didn't have any problems here, so I stormed through this tournament relatively easy. There's really nothing to say about this tournament. I went through it super easy, super confidently, and won on my first try, every single battle. So, good job, me. After this tournament, I was finally able to fight the final boss, but kind of like a Kind of like a prequel to the final boss. You fight him before you fight him when he is super powerful. And what is this all-powerful brawler's name? The one who will take us down in history as the worst Bakugan Battle Brawlers ever? Who is the one who is trying to rule all of Bakugan and all of the world? That's right, his name is Marduk. It's Marduk. It's so stupid. Anyways, after telling him that bullying isn't cool, we went to the store and bought some new cards to help out Leonidas in battle, since, again, these cards are going to be very helpful in battle, since we need to have higher G power than the opponent in order to win anything. After our shopping spree, we then went and immediately upgraded Leonidas all the way to max level. So he was as powerful as he could be, unless I decided I wanted to reset his stats in trade for more favorable ones. After that, it was time for the maximum power tournament, which is more single battles, which are super easy because again, I can just send out a gate card to mess with their AI. It does not change no matter what difficulty they are on. The attribute stadium was Ventus, aka Wind, so it didn't give me an advantage nor disadvantage. However, my first opponent used Subterra Bakugan, which gave them a massive disadvantage. So this first battle was super easy. In fact, all of them were actually pretty easy, to be honest. I think I lost once in this tournament, but I'm not entirely sure. After defeating all the tournament combatants? After defeating all the computers in this round, I then had to face against Masquerade. You know Masquerade, the big bad guy from a TV show, the coolest villain to ever exist in any anime ever. Okay, that's a lie. But he is up there. Come on, you have to give him props. He's up there for one of the coolest. Anyways, this battle was looking pretty good until I made a massive mistake. Masquerade went around and picked up a power-up card that made him invisible, so I couldn't see where he landed. And I have a terrible memory. So I accidentally shot my Bakugan and landed where he was. And before you ask, no, I did not send out Leonidas. I had to do my 7th and final reset right here. Because of my stupidity. Land on that card. I have to land. He's behind Leonidas. No. Yes, he is. He's on this card right here. So do not land on that card. We're going to land on this card right here. If we beat Masquerade with just double stands, I'm going to laugh my ass off. I'm going to... Oh, shit! I'm still so mad at myself for that. So I did the only thing I could do and reset and tried the battle again, and we won this time, but man, I'm still mad at myself for that. After that, it was time for the Pyrus and Chaos battle before we faced the final boss. And nothing happened here. I didn't reset at all, so I won every single battle. I did everything I could. It's really boring, honestly. Nothing exciting happened. So I'm just gonna skip through these. One thing I will note though is that the Chaos tournament was a bit of a challenge. Of course, like I said, I won every battle. I did not have to reset. But it was a bit of a challenge because it was Chaos. And I'm Darkest, which meant that the stadium gave me a disadvantage on every single thing that I did. And finally, after so long, it was time to face Marduk, the final boss, one last time and beat this challenge. It was definitely tough. It was definitely a challenge. So let's just see what exactly happened on that fateful fight. This fight was different than other fights because we each took turns placing down one gate card. We only had one single Bakugan on our party, and we could only battle to win. There was no double stands. There was no nothing else. The good news is, because of plot, Leonidas evolved. However, Marduk's Bakugan evolved as well. So we were both equally strong. The final field was darkest, which gave both of us an advantage. However, the game devs decided that wasn't strong enough, and they decided to make it so that every single shot that Marduk did was what's known as a special shot. Each ability, each attribute has a different special shot, and Darkest just so happens to be that they steal 40 health and give it to themselves when they stand. And because we can only stand, he took away 40 health from me every single time. This challenge, this fight it seemed impossible. And at first it was impossible. We actually lost our first battle this first round. We have stormed through this whole game with a 100% win rate. But then we lost this first battle here, and I knew that we had to come up with some kind of strategy with the deck that we currently had, as we didn't have anything else to use. And this is what I came up with. I started out with sending out my gate card Haunted Knight, which gave every Darkest Bakugan 200 G power. Yes, it would also give him 200, but for this strategy to work, I needed to use a card that didn't have any special conditionings to it. In the battle phase, I used my Turn of Fortune ability card, which gives me a random amount of power that goes all the way up to 400. I got lucky with a 200 power increase, and that was just enough to win this battle. With 1,481 power, we won the first battle. Next was Marduk's turn to place down a gate card. He placed down a gate card known as Mega Warrior, which is a card that I also own. And this actually gave me an advantage because Mega Warrior gives whoever has the most gate cards won so far an extra 200 power increase, which I of course got. I didn't use any ability cards for this fight, and I won with 1,739 G power. Next, it was my turn to place down a gate card, and I placed down Mega Warrior again, because with 2 gate cards under my belt, I would receive a 550 G power boost. The battle was going perfect and just as I intended to. I even used up all of my ability cards just to raise up high above him, just because this was what I thought was to be the final battle. Emphasis on what I thought. Somehow during the minigame portion of the battle, he got more Gs than me and won. Now this was the real challenge. I was so scared I was going to lose again, because not only did I use up all of my ability cards, but we were fighting on his card, which he could have placed down a character card, meaning his Bakugan and his Bakugan only gets doubled power. So I crossed my fingers, hope for the best, and went around picking up every single G power boost that I could find on the map. By the time that I landed on his gate card, I was at 730 Gs. However, once he landed and took away 40 health, this drastically changed. With this being the final battle, I'll let you watch it for yourself. Oh my god, I won at the last second. We did it! Holy shit, we did it! Wait!
Yes, I won!
Holy shit, we did it! We actually did it. We actually pulled it off and beat the Bakugan Battle Brawlers video game with only Leonidas. It sure was a trip, a long journey, but eventually, through persistence, we won. An excellent strategy and execution really changed everything in the end, followed by sheer luck. But that's just how this goes, doesn't it? Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Have a wonderful day.